with you, as everybody knows Theo. And the general application for beer wine, like I want to keep the restaurant like able to open to 8:30 and serve the beer wine table, serve not as a bar. And I think it's that I don't know how many how I have to say right now. That's it. If you need some paperwork, Juliana has the paperwork you guys need it. And oh, that's it. Just no. Any questions?
Well, Victor, do you have any?
Well, I think there were some signatures that you collected.
Oh yeah,
Would you like to say something about those?
Yeah. That is the menu behind that.
Okay. So you've got a bunch of folks who are asking for support. You have your.
It's the menu.
Yeah. This is the current menu or the proposed?
The correct menu.
Okay.
They'll be the same menu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right.
We'll be all everything on the set.
The license along with the
Okay.
floor plan. The rest has written.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Jim, this is 19 seat capacity, is that
Yes.
correct?
So I'm going to ask if abutters have any questions. We'll do questions first. People will ask you questions. The abutters and then everyone. And then we'll open it up to comments when we'll hear people. Any comments? So questions first, abutters. Any abutters here? Okay. Anyone have a question? Scrubia.
Theo, what's the main reason that you want a beer and wine license? Have your customers been requesting it already, or is this expressly for being able to provide dinner?
If the customer has been asked for, and to work at night time with the dinner would be one be helpful for me and for the customers who ask all the time, because it's also like pasta and some Brazilian food. They always ask, why I don't have a liquor license, because I'm there for the business, my for 18 years, but I'm there for 25 to 6 years.
You said 18 years? That was
It's my, like, I own this for about 18, but I'm there for 26.
So are you committed to having a dinner offering? That's your plan, definitely to have a dinner offering if you get the beer and wine license?
If I get it, it will be better, but I'm thinking about opening a night, even if I don't get it. To serve the,
Are there any other questions?
Actually, I have another question on 8:30.
And by the way, even though you've already asked a question, everyone asking a question should identify themselves and street address.
Dave Kubiak, Cleveland Place, very close to the establishment.
Yes, almost at the
And I've been a customer for 18 years. This may be a question for Victor more than for Theo. You mentioned 8:30. The current CV food license is for 8:30 closing.
yes.
So do you believe the licensing board would issue a beer and wine license with an 8:30 closing? Is that what they've requested, and is that what you believe will be issued?
Again, it's hard to know what the licensing board will do. I offer no guesses, but one would hope that's.
Because there are very, very few licenses in our neighborhood that are have an earlier closing time than 11 o'clock. But the application is formally for the formal request for 8:30?
I did not see
Yes.
our
Yeah.
request on the application.
It's
but it
8:30.
may
Yes,
be
to
there.
close it, yes.
Thank you.
That's not an extension, that's the current license.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it's reflected in the beer and wine application, and hopefully, if you're approved, that it would actually be in the license itself.
Chinsalini and Charter Street. How many nights did you?
I think about 5 nights on. Tuesday to Saturday.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
Closed on Monday and Sunday.
Sunday and Monday, yes.
I just want to say that there are a couple of other smaller restaurants in the North End with approximately your size that have come before us for beer and wine license. One was Paulie's, and we approved it by, I think, 1 vote. But he never got a license because the licensing board never had one available. I assume you're going to the board rather than trying to buy somebody's license. I mean, buying somebody's license is 6 figures, at least $100,000.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you may not get it even if you get approved.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other place was Vole Nole, which was a sandwich shop that decided to open in the evening, and they got the beer and wine license. And apparently they didn't make it. So now they're kind of renting the place out to other businesses to try and get income, I guess, including Pomodoro, that closed a few years away. So they too thought that that would be, a big deal for them, and they ended up losing control of the restaurant. But you're fairly confident that you can make a go of it by getting this license. 19 seats.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let me invite folks to make comments on both 2 and 4. By the way, I will say I have the signatures here, and there are 108 signatures that are that you've collected. People who are saying they support this. So I'm going to put these up here. Anyone wants to peruse it, they could certainly do that. But there are 108 signatures there. Comments? Does anyone have any thoughts? Sorry, hi.
David Marks, 2 Thatcher Street. I too have been a customer on and off, although I haven't been there for a while. I do apologize, but company's made a good share. Good time. It's not a time at Theo's Cozy Corner over the years. I've lived here about 18 years. And 2 things I'll say. Number 1, I've only heard and only had positive things to say about your establishment, no matter what you're talking about in regards to your establishment. And secondly and lastly, anyone that's concerned about the liquor license issue as far as the closing hour, we should feel, I think most of us, when confronted with liquor licenses and a certain closing hour, I think we would love to have more instances where, well, wait, we're only going to close at 8:30. So I think that's an important factor. This is not this is not a midnight, 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. issue, which we know is a very strong issue, which divides the neighborhood and divides opinions. But I think that's a pretty crucial factor. And it is a small establishment. So
Yeah, that's why we thought it'd be.
and I don't envision your establishment being the type of place where people are going to really just keep down and drink after drink after drink, for example. Just wanted to point that out, point out to things.
Please.
Trucks at trailer 100 Salem Street. Can we add a few more signatures to that, or is it
It's not closed. Yeah. You'll have to point out where he would sign up. I will make a comment while you guys are showing that. I think David Marks brings up a good point about licensed seats, and it's something that I've talked about. I mean, sometimes a restaurant will open and they'll have 20 seats. They'll put a deck on the back, they'll expand, and all of a sudden you have 100 seats, and then they have a liquor license, and then they go until 2 a.m. So that's the sort of the cascade, the fear that you don't want when a couple of seats becomes a lot of seats, because there are almost as many liquor license seats right now as there are residents, I think, in the North End. It's a lot of seats. There are a lot of seats to serve liquor, not quite 21. So that's a good point. But the counterbalancing point is there's this cap of licenses, number of licenses in the North End. We have, as folks know, they've seen the maps, we have more liquor licenses than most neighborhoods do. I mean, you take a look at the South End, you take a look, even at the Back Bay, you'd think, wow, it has a lot. And South End I was particularly struck by when I did the comparison. I mean, we have so many more liquor licenses per unit of area than the other neighborhoods do. So NEWRA years ago set a cap of 91 licenses. And one of the things that we're a little concerned about now is that the city last year opened up some new liquor licenses on Anna Presley's legislation, and a number of those were citywide available. And those are, so that enhances the chances that someone who wants to get a fresh new liquor license like this application might be able to get one. Circle Pizza is also applying for one of those fresh new liquor licenses, and I think there's some other applicants. But every time a fresh new license comes in, it adds to the count. Now, we're slightly under the 91 cut now, but you get 2 licenses, and I think we'll be there, or maybe even over. We haven't done the count update recently, and we have to. I mean, the Vole Nole license that was referenced is sort of in limbo right now. We don't know where that's going to go. Just the number of licenses we have to counterweigh against the number of seats still. And any other comments before we go to a vote? Please.
Stephanie Code, Henchman Street. I think there's something that we do need to consider before we vote on this application. And just to put it in context, this stretch of Salem Street between Prince and Charter currently has no alcohol licenses. There are still several small spaces that are one kind of retail or another, including what used to be Boschetto's Bakery, which I have heard, rumored, was purchased by a foreign investment company. So I wouldn't be surprised if sometime in the future we have applications for that space that won't be bakery applications. I think we do need to consider the context of this application, that this stretch of Salem Street right now has no alcohol service. Do we want to introduce alcohol service into this residential part of Salem Street? Sorry.
Question, Anthony Capraro, Commercial Street. I grew up on that corner, but Boschetto's and now Cozy Corner, with the Elliott School going across the street, is there a problem with them getting a liquor license right across the street from a school?
Thinking. I mean, that's a very good question, and I was wondering about that. The
school is, the Bennett Street Industrial School is becoming the Elliott School. That's a school. And usually in the past, you have a tough time getting a liquor license across the street from the school.
Right across from a school. I mean, Dan may know that. We don't. Sorry to call.
The answer is yes. I don't think there's any provisions that you can't. I mean, at one point, I think there was a beer and wine across the street from the Old North Church. I mean, but the school wasn't even a thought of at that point when there was a liquor license there. But I don't think there's a provision that can't be. Schools, churches, and health centers, hospitals have to be notified to within 500 feet of here. So.
And I don't think the city would have taken your application for you. Well, maybe they would have anyhow. They tell you that you can't get it. But anyhow, so thank you, Dan, for that information. So but it's a good point that you raised, that there is a school just across the street that will be. I guess,
the kids are the teachers are getting drunk.
Yes. I'm sorry.
I just have a comment. I mean, he's been there for 18 years. There's never been a problem. He's run his establishment well. Someone like him, I think I would vote for to get a beer and wine versus other people that have come in and totally have trashed our neighborhood with their beer and wine. He's been there 18 years, and I've never heard not one problem out of his establishment. He runs it as well as it could be. And I don't see there being a problem. I think he would respect the people around him because he respects them now, or he wouldn't be there for this long.
Thanks for the comment. Please.
My name is Joe Nicholson. I live on Foster Street, and I've only been in the North End for 3 years, but one of the first days I was in the North End, I stopped at Theo's, and he has always been kind of the face of the community of the North End. I mean, I feel like he's, many people see, you see friends and neighbors all around. It's a place where many people enjoy. And I've felt, my connection to the Theo's Cozy Corner has made me, adapt to become a resident of the North End in a better way. So I really support it and appreciate Theo for everything he does.
Any other comments? If not, we'll put it to a vote. Thank you for that. That's just good to hear some testimonials, of which there are more here. So we're going to use our trustee ballots, number 1. And the support opposed is self-explanatory, but I'll just say, if you are interested in them getting the license, you circle support. If you're not interested and want to stop it, you circle opposed. I guess by Robert's rules, I should make a motion, or someone should make a motion if we vote. So, okay, and someone should second.
So moved.
And so we'll take the vote. Please put your ballots. There will be collectors coming around collecting ballots at the big offices. So I just wanted to record that. 22 supported the beer and wine license application for Theo's Cozy Corner. 9 voted to oppose.